All right, questions 84 through 87. Number 84 says, find the mean of the data summarized in the given frequency distribution. The test scores of 40 students are summarized in a frequency distribution below. Find the mean score. So we know that there are 40 students in total. So we can put 40 as our n. And n means the sample size, how many values are in a data set. The mean is the average. So let's go over here and read some notes. Mean is the average of the data set. And to find the average of a data set, you add all of the values in the data set and divide by the number of data values. Sum of the data values divided by the sample size or the total frequency. But in this case, we have our data organized into a grouped frequency distribution. So for group data, you're going to use the class midpoint to estimate the data values in the class. The reason why we use the midpoint is because we are unsure what those actual values are when the data has been aggregated together. That's why we want our data to be in its purest form for the most optimal results. And we can find the class midpoint, I didn't write it down, by adding the lower limit, so LL for lower limit, and UL for upper limit, and dividing by 2. Hence is the median of the class, quote unquote. Once you do that, then you have to acknowledge that each class has a different frequency. The frequency lets you know the reoccurrence of that midpoint within that class. So we're going to multiply the frequency with the midpoint. Because remember, multiplication is just a shortcut for adding a number that many times. We repeat that with all the classes. We find the sum of those products and we divide by the total number of values in the data set, which is the sample size or the total frequency. So we're going to create 2 extra columns on this frequency distribution. So we're going to have a column, and that's going to be referred to as the midpoint, X sub m. And then we're going to have another column indicating the frequency times the midpoint. So let me just space this out like this. Okay. Make that a little bit longer. That should be good. So to find the midpoint of each class, we're going to do it over here in red. So X sub M1, which means that's the first midpoint. That's going to be 50 plus 59 divided by 2. Remember, you're adding first, then dividing, and that's 54.5. You can also use the distribution's width to determine the next midpoint as well. The distribution's width is a unit of 10. So that means each midpoint should be 10 units apart. When I add 60 and 69, that is 129. 129 divided by 2 is 64.5. I'll do one more midpoint. Then I'm going to use the class width to find the rest of the midpoints. So that's going to be 70 plus 79 divided by 2. And that equals to 74.5. And then after that, I am going to place that on my table. Find the rest of the midpoints by using the class width. So 84.5 and 94.5. Now, as we can see here, each midpoint has a different frequency. Each midpoint occurs in a different way. So for me to find that, I am going to do the following. We're going to multiply each frequency with its midpoint. So let's do that. I'm going to do that in blue. So for the first one, that's going to be 6 times 54.5. and that equals to 327. Then that's 5 times 64.5, and it equals to 322.5. 6 times 74.5, and it's going to equal to 447. 11 times 84.5. I'm not too sure about that one, so I'll calculate that using the calculator. But then 12 times 94.5. I'm going to say that's 1,134. I'm pretty sure these numbers are correct, so I'm going to double check. So 6 times 54.5. Yep. 5 times 64.5. 6 times 74.5. 12 times 94.5. All right, on the money. 11 times 84.5. The reason why this one was harder for me is because both of the numbers here are relatively odd. Well, they are kind of odd. No, I said it right the first time. So, and then we find the sum of the frequency times the midpoints. So that's going to be 327 plus 322.5 plus 447 plus 929.5 plus 1,134. Let me double check to make sure everything is correct. Nope, I put 324 instead of 327. Enter. That's going to equal 3,160. So to find our mean, that is going to be 3,160 divided by 40, and that equals to 79. Yep, that is the average. That is going to be our average for this data set here. 79, whatever the data set is focusing on. A score of 79, I guess. Okay. You can also find the mean in the calculator as well. You still need to find the midpoints. So the midpoints are required. So we can go on our graphic calculator. We can go to stats. We can go to edit. And the midpoints already in. You put the midpoints in L1. And I'm going to change the frequencies in L2. So the midpoints go in L1, the frequency goes in L2. And the frequencies are going to be 6, 5, 6, 11, and 12. So after you place the frequencies in, oops, I meant to put 12. Then you're going to go back to stats. You're going to go over to calculate. You're going to go to one variable statistics. Make sure that your frequency list is L2. So if it's not on L2, you can hit second and 2. Hit second, then 2 to put in L2. Hit enter. And it gives you your statistics. Now remember, scroll down, scroll up. X bar is the sample mean. The sample mean is 79, hence confirming our answer. The sum of our data is 3,160 as shown. And with a sample size of 40. So there we go. All right, let's move on to the next question. It says for the group data, the modal class is the interval containing the most data values. Find the modal class for the given collection of group data. So the modal class in this case is going to be the class from 60 to 79 because it has the highest frequency. Modal class comes from the mode. The mode is the data values that occur the most, if there are data values that appear more than any other. So that is it for number 85. For number 86, it says, using the table below, what grade would a student who ranked in the 50th percentile received? The 50th percentile is 50%. 50% is half. So this means half. And half represents the median. So we want to find which student will have the median, will be in the middle. In this case, let's add up the numbers. Let's find the total frequency. So that's 11. 11 plus 11 is 22. Plus 3 is 25. Plus 3 again is going to be 28. So to find the median in this case, the median is going to be 28 divided by 2. So the median is going to be 14. In this case, it's not going to be the number 14, but the median is the 14th student. So whoever is the 14th student, we can find that by determining where they fall at. This data is already organized by letter grade. A is the highest, then B, then C, then D, then F. So let's find that 14th student. So it will not be an A student because that's 4. It will not be a B student because if we add 4 plus 7, that equals to 11. But the median will be a student who received a C. And why is that? Because if I add the 11 here with the 11 up there, 11 plus 11 is 22. So far we accounted for 22 students. The median is the 14th student. The 14th student is a number between the 11th student and the 22nd student. And that 14th student has to fall in the letter grade of C. So what grade would a student ranked in the 50th percentile receive? The answer is a letter grade of C. Let's write, I didn't mean to change the color of that black ink. So we'll write it down here. Letter grade of C. That is the final answer to this question. Okay, number 87. Find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range for the following data set. All right. Now, the mean is the average. We already talked about that. To find the mean, which I'm going to use its symbol, you're going to add up all the values in the data set and then divide by the number of values in the data set. So in our data set, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 values in the data set. Let's find the sum of that data. So 12 plus 15. Am I even typing? Yes, I am. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. That equals to 157. And then we're going to divide that number by 9. And we're going to round to 1 decimal place. So it's going to be 17.4 approximately. And that is our mean. To find our median, we want to list the numbers in order. So for the median, list the numbers in chronological order. So the smallest value that I see here is 12. So I see 12 twice. So cross that off. Then we have 15. 3 times. 3 15ths. 1, 2, 3. We have 2 18ths. We have a 22 and a 30. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, good. And then we can cross off at the ends until we reach the middle. If there's 2 middle numbers, we have to find the midpoint of those middle numbers by adding them, then dividing by 2. So cross off the ends. And we determine that the median is 15. So our median, MD, is 15. The mode is the data value that appears the most. And the mode is also going to be 15 because 15 appears 3 times. And that's more than any other number in the data set. I know 12 and 18 appear twice. But once again, the mode is the value that appears the most. And last but not least, we're going to find the mid-range. So for the mid-range, let me zoom out a little bit. The mid-range, we call that MR. That is just the sum, or it's the average of the highest and lowest values. So it's going to be the lowest value plus the highest value divided by 2. The sum between the lowest and highest divided by 2. And we can use the mid-range to kind of estimate what the median is. Sometimes people say it could also be for the mean. But by putting the numbers in order, we know that the lowest is 30. So the lowest is 12. The highest is 30. And we're dividing that by 2. So that's 42 over 2, which is 21. 21 is our mid-range. And that's it. That is questions 84 through 87. I hope this was helpful and you enjoyed the video. Take care.